Welcome to No Face Meals. I'm your host, Marjorie Haynes. Today we're going to be using a different kind of vegan meat product I haven't showcased before. We're going to be making a Mongolian beef, vegan style. The product is called Butler's Soy Curls, made with non-GMO organic soy. And they come dehydrated like this. I normally would use these. I do like rib tips with them. I have done, a vegan jerky with them, which turned out fabulous. So, what I like about this product is that as long as there's no moisture, it's good forever. I mean, it's a shelf-stable product. So, if you're making, you want to make a vegan beef and noodles and you forgot that, you didn't make a seitan or you didn't, didn't buy any, this would be a really good, not only source of protein, but a good substitute for that. What you do is you take out how much you need. The recipe said 2 cups, but you know me, this is 3, and that's okay. You're going to boil water. You're going to pour over enough of the water that all of the soy curls are covered, and then you're going to set and rehydrate for about 10 minutes. You can do this ahead of time to make this, because this is a fairly quick meal. You can rehydrated soy curls you can put in the refrigerator and it's good for a week, so you could do this up ahead of time. You can rehydrate them and throw them in the freezer and they're good for at least a month. So if you want to rehydrate all your soy curls at one time, you don't need that many, hey, throw them in a freezer bag, throw them in the freezer, they're good for at least a month. And it would be really good because you can season these any way you want to. It has no taste until you start seasoning them. You can put this on pizza. You can make Philly cheesesteak with it. There's like 1,000 different ways to use this product. Now, the recipe called for vegetable broth, and what I used is this vegetable base I got from Amazon. I can't recommend this base enough. Great for soups, great for anytime you need veggie broth. Good on its own. I mean, it's just a good product. And it's what I like it is gluten-free. It is lower sodium, because sodium and us is a no. So I just reconstituted 2 cups because I am going to double the sauce, because I like a lot of sauce on my Mongolian beef. Another thing that you may not see with Mongolian beef is that now this called for 3 tablespoons of tanari or soy or Bragg's. This is Bragg's, and I'm doubling the sauce, and I'm only using 2 tablespoons. And the reason why is that this is really salty without having sodium in it. So I would much rather someone put it on their food as opposed to in the sauce. So because everybody's level of saltiness is different. Some people may like it a little more salty. Some people may like it a little less salty. Hard to make it less salty after you already put it in there. So better to err on the side of caution. Another thing I'm adding to, I don't know any Mongolian beef that doesn't have onions in it. Usually it has a lot of onions in it. So we're gonna put some onions. We're gonna, and you want these kind of thicker, because you want them, you want that onion. You want onions with this dish. Don't like onion? Don't put them in there. That's fine. I'm going to be putting broccoli. Do you see why I need extra sauce, right? I'm going to be putting broccoli in mine. Don't like broccoli? Don't put it in there. That's fine. rather have a different vegetable, carrots, mushrooms, any of that, you know, any vegetable you want would be good. Zucchini would be good. Whatever you want. This also translates really well into if you want to eat meat. You know, get a nice piece of, you know, flank steak. You know, something that's not going to cost you an arm or a leg. But this makes a nice big meal, and it's pretty quick once you get everything together. Now, your spices. I'll talk about your spices. I doubled this recipe for the sauce, so I've got a teaspoon of ginger in it. I've got probably a good teaspoon and a half of garlic because I like garlic. I put a half a teaspoon in for the regular, or double it with 1 teaspoon, or if you like me, go ahead and put that extra half a teaspoon in because you know you like some garlic. Hot pepper, crushed hot pepper flakes. Okay, Mongolian beef is supposed to be a little bit spicy, but everybody's spice level is different. It calls for a half a teaspoon to a tablespoon of the single sauce. I have here a half a teaspoon for a doubled sauce because I can't deal with that much spicy. Being a gastric bypass, I'm just saying it can be scary. Now, what I like about this recipe, it is on the healthier side. Okay, restaurant Mongolian beef has a lot of sugar in it. People don't realize that. The healthy version can have 2/3 of a cup of sugar. Now, that's a lot of sugar, especially if you're diabetic. This guy put in maple syrup. We're going to put this in at the last. You're only going to put in a tablespoon, and I would put in 2 tablespoons because I doubled the sauce recipe. Get yourself the real maple syrup. Can you use other things? Why, sure you can. You know, you can use a tablespoon of honey. You could use a tablespoon of a guava syrup. I mean, it's just whatever you have on hand and whatever you like. You want to use the sugar? Have at it. I don't have a problem with that. Just for me and mine, we're going to do the maple syrup. And you're only going to put this in at the very last minute, just as you're adding your rehydrated beauties here. Now, we're going to rehydrate these. And when you rehydrate these and they're ready to go, you're going to want to, first of all, rinse them in cold water. Then you want to squeeze all the excess water out of it, okay? Because these are going into my air fryer. You only need it, 10 minutes, 350 degrees. I think that's what it says. Something like that. 380 degrees, 8 to 10 minutes in your air fry, shaking halfway through. Now, if you want to bake these, why, sure, you can do that too. You would put them in 375 for 15 minutes, turning several times with a parchment-lined baking sheet. So, you need quick and easy. I'm going to use the air fryer. I ain't going to turn. And this is really nice because, you get hungry for a Chinese food. You don't have to do takeout and do whatever, take whatever they have. You can make it something a little bit healthier, and you can make it your way. Because I don't know how many times that, I like lo mein. Well, there's only one place in town I can get just mushroom lo mein. Everybody else says, no, you have to have vegetable lo mein. Well, I don't want all those other vegetables. I just want mushroom. Make my own. It's much fresher, and it's very nice. All right, so I'm going to go rehydrate my curls, and we'll be right back when they're ready to go. And we're back. This is No Face Meals. I'm your host, Marjorie Haynes. We're going to go ahead, and I know people are like, I don't have a wok. Don't need a wok. You just need a hot pan, okay? I'm using avocado oil. You can use the oil of your choice if you put in your onions, okay? Alright, So we're going to have to cook these. You want these fairly soft. So we're going to throw them in there. Now if you don't want the onions, don't go ahead and don't put them in there. But every Mongolian beef I've ever had onion. So we're going to put this on. We'll put the lid on. There we go. We're going to let those cook and get soft. This we've already steamed. This came from a steamable bag. And then I kind of chunked it up a little bit more because I don't like huge pieces of broccoli in my Mongolian beef. I just like little bits of. It's just the way I am. So we have reconstituted the Butler soy curls, and they have spent 10 minutes on 380 in my air fryer. When these come out, after you've rinsed them and you squeeze as much water as you can out of them, that's why you have to rinse them in cold water. They're very, very, very soft. Okay, so you want this to be a little bit chewy. You know, you want it to be so it's like more beef-like. So this is already to go. We just got to cook onions. Like I said, you want these onions to cook down and be soft. And you want nice, bigger slices of onion in there. You know, kind of break them up a little bit. But if you would rather not have these onions like this, then hey, you know, you do you. Most Mongolian beef has the longer pieces of onion. In fact, most Mongolian beef, that's all they have in there is beef, sauce, and onion. I'm gonna slip some of the broccoli in there because, you know, you like your veggie. Now, like I said, these can be done ahead of time. So when you're ready to cook, it's like a 10-minute cook. Same thing with onions. You can cook them, you know, a day or so ahead of time and just have them ready to go. Or they actually have onion all ready to go. They're chopped up a little bit more, but, you know, you can do things like, you know, you can put bell pepper in here if you want. You know, you can put, you know, they have a mix that that's already chopped up and just throw it in there. You can do that. What I like about this recipe is that the soy curls are shelf stable, so you can have these for pretty much as long as you keep them dry. And you can make up a big bunch, and they kind of look like a chicken, and they're not flavored until you put them in something and you flavor them. You could marinate them, put them in a marinade. Yeah, I get it. Put it in a marinade. If you wanted to go all the way through, you can. This would be good for like kebabs. You can do that. Very versatile product. Put them in soups, so they kind of make shredded chicken out of it. You can do that. Make it a mess. Onions are doing good, but not quite there. And what I like about this too, this can be a very quick meal. Like I said, you know, you could fry up, you know, saute up your onions while you're dehydrating your soy curls. Yeah, I get it. You could, you could multitask. This normally will take about 10 minutes to do, but I do it a little bit slower. So we're just waiting for the onions to get a little soft, and we're going to build our sauce in this pan, so you don't have to wash another pan. I'm all about the one-step meal, because basically we're just waiting for onions to get cooked enough where we can then build our sauce around it. real hard to do, this sauce. The one thing I do want to point out is we have here 2 tablespoons of cornstarch in warm water. This is going to be our thickener for our sauce. Remember I said we're going to put that maple syrup. It's a slurry. Really good for thickening things. I have here about a cup or 2. Maybe not quite a cup. Well, about not quite 2 cups. Because I'm making extra. Calls for 1/3 of a cup of the broth. You could actually also use water if you want to. Yeah, you can thicken water. It's okay. But this is such a good vegetable broth base. We use it for a lot of things. We're getting there, folks. So I'll tell you something I had happen to me. I don't think I have ever had happen before in my entire life over the holiday. Made a beautiful mushroom stroganoff, and I put it in. It goes in the crock pot, you know, because you know it's Christmas. And I understand I ain't gonna sit there and cook on Christmas. Threw it in there. Sauce was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. Now I cooked this onion in this sauce for about 10 to 12 hours. Was it cooked? I have never had it was cut up. Never had an onion that wouldn't cook. That was wild. I mean, I have cooked whole onions in a crock pot in less time. It's really strange. But, you know, since I mentioned it to a few other people, they've said, you know, we've had one of those before. No matter how long you saute it, it just would never get soft. And I find that's kind of weird. First time I've ever had that happen. But boy howdy, now I make sure, you know, if it's going in the crock pot, I'm going to saute that onion a little bit, because ain't nothing worse than trying to pick out onion that isn't quite the way it needs to be. And not quite translucent yet. Some are, some aren't. I like my onion well done. That's not well done. I'll tell you that right now. It hit that table. Boy howdy, that's hot. Don't laugh. I know y'all been doing it. You've all done it before too. Almost. All right. Almost. A little crunchy yet. But yeah, that had me questioning my own sanity there for a while. I couldn't figure out how in the world that onion could not have been cooked. It's just a strange onion. Let's hope it never happens again, because I'm telling you, well, I saute my onions now. A little bit before I put them in the crock pot. You don't have to. I've had someone ask me now, you make Mongolian beef and you've got too much, you know, how long will it stay in the refrigerator? Well, it's good for a whole week in the refrigerator. Now, there ain't nothing here that would prevent you from throwing it in a container and throw it in the freezer. That's good for a month, because you may not want Mongolian beef. Maybe you just made too much of it. I tend to be a little heavy-handed when it comes to making some of this stuff, and then we end up eating it for weeks, or we put it in the freezer until we're ready for it. And there's no shame in that, because we're all busy, have busy lives. I know, you know, especially your busy moms, you got kids that's got soccer practice or volleyball games or, you know, prom, all that good stuff. You know, so instead of buying Chinese food or, you know, sending out for pizza or doing frozen pizza, this is a little bit more healthy for you, you know. That's a little bit more healthy for you. And this usually, like I said, takes about 10 minutes if you want to preheat your, do your soy curls ahead of time. There, I'll get it out. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and proceed. Because those are looking pretty good. Now, nice. Looking pretty good. And they'll cook it down a little bit more. Not quite translucent, but they will cook down a little bit more. And you can use any size of onion you like. It doesn't have to be a small, medium, or large. It's just how much onion do you want in this dish. Now, we're going to add our broth. Now, I'm not going to use all of this. We're going to reserve a little bit. Just a little bit. Because my sauce might get too thick. And we don't want that to happen. Alright, kind of deglazing that pan, getting all that good onion and good stuff there. To this, I'm adding my Bragg's. Remember, this is 2 tablespoons. Calls for 3 tablespoons of, but I don't like stuff to be too salty. I'd rather you add that at the table if you need more of that Bragg's. This is your 1 teaspoon. I got a teaspoon of ginger, a half a teaspoon of pepper flakes, and I've got 1/2 teaspoons of garlic. I'm doing a double sauce, so you can dump it in there. Now, if you like more spice, you go right ahead and add more spice. But we don't need that much spice. Now, we got this getting hot. Now we're going to add this here. This is your thickener. And this is 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to about 2 tablespoons or so of water in warm water. Howdy, put that in there. Now we're going to start off a little slow. Oop, already, see? Already pretty darn thick. I'm not ready for you to be that thick yet, son. Now, if you had more, I'm going to add your broccoli. See, thick again. This is why I reserved it. Soy curls. It would be darker if you used if you had used your tamarind sauce or your soy. Yeah, I get it. It would be a little bit, it would be darker. Since I didn't use that much, mine won't be very dark. And that's okay. And that's alright. Alright, now, we're going to let that cook a little bit down. Just a little howdy-doody. We're going to leave that off because I'm going to show you right now. We're going to finish it. See how quick this gone? When it starts to get thick, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Or you can use honey, or you could use a guava syrup. You could use sugar if you wanted to. That's just to sweeten it, because Mongolian beef is a little bit sweet. And you see my sauce ain't quite as thick as I would have liked it. Yeah, it's fairly thick. But I tell you this right now, I think I have to use a little more sauce next time. Yeah, boy. Cornstarch. Cornstarch and water is the best thickener in the world. Quick thickener. We'll put it that way. Alright. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get this plated up for you. And I'll show you the finished product when we get back. Hi, welcome back to No Face Meals. I'm your host, Marjorie Haynes. We're getting ready to plate up this beautiful Mongolian beef. Now, sauce is thick enough, so that's good. It's thick enough for me. Things that I would do different. Well, if you want it to be a little bit darker, because I know it doesn't look like beef. I would either add more soy sauce or Bragg's. We use Bragg's. I might marinate this to make it a darker color if that's really important to you. Not that important to us. Put us a nice bed of rice there. Sauce will be darker if you use more Bragg's. This is the first time I've cooked this recipe, so I think it turned out pretty darn nice for the first time. Now, like I said, you can put any vegetable you want in here. You know, you could do mushroom, you could do, let me not get carried away. Just the right amount of sauce, because you don't want it to wet your, you don't want to soak your rice in it. I might have used a little more broth in it. I'd make a little more sauce. But I mean, sauce is easy to make. So if you need a little extra sauce, you just make a little extra. But spices are fit for, tuned for what we like. If you like it spicy, put that tablespoon in there. If you don't like it quite that spicy, have it be a little bit less. Now, this plus your rice. Let me give you a calorie count on that. It's 120 calories plus your rice, which ain't much. 7 grams of protein, 2 grams of fiber. So pretty healthy and pretty good. So there you have it. Mongolian beef with Butler's soy curls. And Butler's soy curls can be bought from their website or from Amazon. For No Face Meals, I'm your host, Marjorie Haynes.